Hello, Pisces. Welcome to Spicy Sunflower Tarot. This is going to be your overview reading for the month of February 2026. This is going to be the year of the horse, beginning, I believe, February 17th is what I've been listening to the professionals, people that know way more about astrology than me, talking about the actual start of the new year being on February 17th, the year of the horse. And with that in mind, I thought, well, let's get out all the animal cards that I have. So I have the Cats Rule the Earth, the Cat Tarot, and the Tarot Familiars decks out. I'm going to definitely use the Tarot Familiars at the end. That'll be our clarification. But let's decide which one to use for your main reading. I'm going to go with Cat Tarot, the purple deck here, and I'll set this other one off to the side. I'm going to do a basic Celtic cross spread for a general overview of your energy. So just tune into your intuition, your higher self, your wisdom, your love, your light, Pisces. We are in Aquarius season. We have a lot of air energy going on, so there's a lot of communication. There's a lot of verbal exchange. There's a lot of written communication. There's probably a lot to keep up with, to be honest. Pisces can be your sun sign, moon sign, or rising sign. Pisces, sun sign is going to be, that's your outward personality. The rising sign is going to be your internal energy, who you really are. Your moon sign is going to be your emotional energy. So if you know your birth charts, if they're usually free, you can plug in your details in so many different places. But your birth chart is really helpful for you to know. That way, when you watch tarot card readings, you know which sign. Either you do one, your sun sign only, or you do all three. I would highly advise to give all three signs a bit of a chance because they're all going to speak to you in different ways. For the Pisces that's here, whoever it is, the collective sign of Pisces, let's get a general overview in the Celtic Cross Tarot card spread. The first card out is going to be the recent past. What brought you here? What energy did you show up to February holding? The eight, this is the Eight of Pentacles. This is you being a badass at work, essentially. You mastering your craft. You being like a subject matter expert at work. This is you really holding the authority where work is concerned. When people have questions, they're going to call on the Pisces because you know what you're talking about. When it concerns anything to do with your job, you are the one that people want to reach out to. You are the point of contact. What is the current present energy for the sign of Pisces? What is your current present energy? It is what really like you're standing on at this current moment when you're watching this reading for February. The King of Swords. You're not messing around. You're not being your traditionally typical emotional self. You're being more thought-oriented, more verbal, more written communication. You're going to state the facts, the figures. You're going to spill the truth. You're going to share your knowledge without emotion attached to it. It's going to be very clear, concise, the master of your communication. And it's the masculine energy in the way of how you act in the world. So as you're opening up into February, you're being very controlled about the way that you deliver information. And it's mastering that ability to just be like, there's no emotion involved. It's just facts and figures. These are the numbers. This is how we're going to have this meeting at 9 o'clock. We're going to discuss this one spreadsheet. And, it's very systematic and thought-oriented, very communicative. and not a lot of emotion. And what's challenging you being in your King of Swords? What's challenging that for you? What is challenging the King of Swords for the sign of Pisces? The Judgment. Major Arcana. This has a lot to do with Scorpio or Aries. Judgment. Judgment is a final say. Judgment is a final cast over something. Your final judgment. And that's getting in the way of, well, this is maybe not necessarily you. This could be someone making a judgment, like your boss or your employer could be having a judgment over the way that you're going about things. You're trying to speak truth and facts and figures, and what's challenging you is a judgment. Someone making a judgment call, someone calling the shots above you. You're in your master energy over here with your job. So this is really speaking to me about work. What's on your mind, Pisces? What's going on in your mind? What are you thinking about a lot of times? You can't really get something off your mind because it's just there. You're going back and forth with something. What is that? Temperance, another major arcana. This one's for the sign of Sagittarius. And this is all about balance and moderation and being able to tap into a little bit of, it's moderation, it's balance, it's achieving a state of equilibrium. There's usually an angel depicted, Archangel Michael. So there's a lot of protection, and you're really focusing and contemplating the protection that you need in your life to bring balance and orchestrate everything working out for the highest good of all concerned, where you trying to be in your King of Swords energy and someone coming along and throwing judgment down on you for it. What is in your bottom of your spread here that you might not be aware of, or you might not be ready to show the world just yet, that this is what you're thinking about, or this is in your energy at all? And it's the Queen of Pentacles, and that's the feminine court card energy of the Pentacles, where mothering is concerned, nurturing is concerned, where we want to take care of everybody. We want to make sure everybody's okay. We want to make sure that everyone's got food and clothes and money in the bank and a warm bed to sleep in. This is Virgo energy, very much about, like I said, just making sure that everybody's got what they need. And it's their physical sustenance. Underneath the surface, you really do care if people have their basic needs, what they need to be in life. So you're really spending a lot of your internal energy in your downtime, maybe focusing on that you have a nice house, that you have warm beds, that you have heat, that everybody's got good food to eat. You know, you're really in this mothering energy, this Mother Earth energy. What's in your near future? What's going on in the near future in the month of February for the sign of Pisces? This is the Three of Pentacles. This is you at work, building your team, growing your reliance on one another. Everybody learning that you've got strengths and I've got weaknesses, and we're going to build together. We're going to capitalize on our strengths. The Three of Pentacles is collaborating and building something together with others. Definitely work related. Definitely. What is your internal energy? What is going on inside of the Pisces that this reading is for? What's going on inside of Pisces, your internal energy in the month of February overall? And that's the Four of Wands. inside, you really are doing everything in your external world because you want your home to be your haven. You want your the people in your home to feel that soul passion presence. The Four of Wands is happy house, happy spouse. This is marriage, a home, our soulmate. It's 1111, so it could be our soulmate that we share our home with. But that's your internal energy. That's your like GPS, your internal guidance system is all about everything I do in the world at my job is because of my home. I want my home to be that warm fire that I can go sit at and feel comfort and love. Ultimately, at the end of the day, that is your internal energy, Pisces. External energy, it's outside of you, but it affects you because it's important to you. It could be your coworkers, it could be your family, it could be the friends that you hang out with. And then we have justice. So outside of you, everybody seems to be up in arms about what's fair, what's right, what's true. We want everything to be fair. Maybe that's what this judgment is about. Because something outside of you has either gone through HR, has gone through the court system, or ultimately somebody outside of you got to determine how the scales were balanced, how the equilibrium was restored to maybe your workplace, to your job. Justice had a hand in your life. In February, justice will have a hand in your life. Justice will call the shots. Justice represents the sign of Libra, and Libra is the only inanimate object in all of the 12 signs in the zodiac signs. It's represented, Libra is represented by the scales, the cold metal scales. Not that Libra is a cold sign, they're not, but they're all about balance, equilibrium. No matter how much weight you put on one, it's gonna eventually need to balance out so that it can be level and equal. So wherever there's been injustice, wherever there's been a sense of inequality, in the month of February, things are going to be righted where things have been believed to be wrong. What is your hopes and your fears? You hope for it, but you can simultaneously fear it at the same time. You hope, but you also fear. The Fool, another major arcana. This is the major arcana for the sign of Aries. This is about taking chances, taking risks, being a fool for love, loving like you've never been hurt before, taking risks, just wanting to leap off the cliff and not know where you're going to land, but you're going to go for it anyways. But the fear is that you take a risk and you lose your ass. The fear is that you go running over the cliff and you fall flat on your face and make a fool of yourself. The Fool has its good and its bad qualities, just like all the cards. But this is in your hopes and your fears. So there is something inside of you, Pisces, that wants to start fresh, that wants to start over, that wants to start new. But there's a fear that if you do that, there's risks. There's possibility of failure. There is whatever is on the other side of your fear. There's fear for that. That's in your hopes and your fears. The last card, your final outcome for the month of February for the sign of Pisces. What is your final outcome card? Look at that. The Emperor. Another Aries energy. The Emperor is the major arcana for the sign of Aries. So is the Fool. Interesting. As a final outcome, the Emperor speaks to you having control of your life, you being in the driver's seat. The Emperor is the embodiment of all four kings. All the elements are represented here. The Emperor, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's very masculine energy. It's very calling the shots energy. It's very much taking control, making sure that your way is the way that things go. It's society's rules. It's expectations of the group at large. The emperor has to stand for and represent what's right. And there's very black and white thinking here. The emperor, like I said, though, not very feeling oriented, very different from the way that I perceive as a Pisces to be. You're a very sensitive, emotional, intuitive sign. But at the end of the day, if this is really like something to do with work, if the final outcome is you having to put your foot on the ground and call the shots and make the rules and say how it's going to be, especially for you, with all this justice and whatnot coming around, at the end of the day, you taking control of your life and your position at work, I can see that happening, very highly probable. So the Emperor's there's your final outcome. Pisces, thank you so much for being here for your reading. I'm going to bring out this last deck, the Tarot Familiars. Let's do a few extra cards just as a clarification. Maybe we get something new, maybe we don't, maybe we clarify what we already have. Interesting. Last three cards for the sign of Pisces, please. What do we have for Pisces? Seems like there's really a lot of work-related information going on here. You have a draw to be at home. You have a draw to be with your loved ones, but duty calls. Here's the Emperor again, confirmation. Knight of Pentacles, yeah, and Eight of Wands. You're going to be very busy in February, Pisces. You're going to have to be very focused, very boots on the ground with your job, with your work. People are going to try, and maybe they have the authority to do that, but you ultimately have the authority over, I think, your department, your division of yourself, to be the emperor, to be in control. The emperor, this Knight of Pentacles, moving very slow with something in your physical world. So whether it's at work, you being the emperor, you being in charge, you being in control, you being the authority, whatever it is that you're trying to establish for yourself, it's going to take some time to get from point A to point B. But there's going to be a lot of communication coming your way, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. People trying to maybe question you, get you to fall off your emperor throne, maybe just wanting to test you more than anything and see, Pisces, do you really mean A, B, and C? And you're going to have to just really buckle down. Being the emperor means being sometimes stubborn. I said what I said. And I don't want you to try me on that. I said what I said. And ultimately, you're really just responsible and involved with your family, but you have to be this control authority figure at work. Pisces, this is your reading. Thank you for your time, your effort, your attention, and your energy. I would ask for a like, a follow, subscribe, and a share of the video if you're willing to, and a comment would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for being here. It is a blessing to do your February reading for you. Be blessed, be well. Namaste.